What's good? It's JB, and in today's video I had wanted to talk about something I don't think I've heard anyone speak on before, and I had wanted to talk about how most producers are actually lonely when you really think about it. And I really don't mean it in a derogatory manner. I really mean it as in most producers really don't have as much of a social life because we really put in so much work to really get anywhere, especially big producers. Like for example, let's say you made 2 or 3 album placements to get on the album. You probably had to send like 200 to 300 beats just to get 2 to 3 songs on the album. It did. So you just gotta think, it's so much work that really comes with just achieving a little amount of success as a producer. Like you have to really be all in with it. And I don't really think most people really consider that. Like most people might think that it's really just easy, but all of the producers that you see that's really big, they really put in a lot of sleepless nights and so much work to really get to where they at. And on the outside looking in, it might just look like it was easy or they just shot off just quick like that. But trust me, it's a lot of work that goes into the major producers that you see with a whole lot of plaques. A perfect example of somebody with a crazy work ethic is ATL Jacob. He one of my favorite producers, but I can see that he got like eye bags up under his eyes, and that's really just because that's how committed he is to what he do. And even though he got a whole bunch of success now, it really took him a lot of sleepless nights just to get to where he is, and he's still putting in the work now. So that really just show like the level of commitment that you have to have. But you see like he got crazy hits now, like Wait For Me and so many hits with Future. But just think about how many beats that he made in a sense of Future that's not even out. He probably got so many songs that's not out. So you just gotta think, like a lot of times people don't really see what go behind the scenes. And when you consider all that, it's not really too much room for as much of a social life if you making that many beats. And plus they all gotta actually be hard. So you gotta think he probably taking more so his time with the beats that he's making. He's not just rushing and sending Future anything. And even me, for example, if I'm locked in making the craziest beats for a project I'm trying to get on, then I'm not gonna have as much time to be partying or really just much of a social life. Not saying that partying is just something I like to do, but I'm just saying that it's not even gonna really be too much room for it. So I feel like most producers that's really big, like we're really intentional with our time. So we not really just messing off our time. And even when you do see producers like just out having fun, trust me, it's gonna be like an event like a release party or something like that. The only time you finna see somebody like Metro or Southside and like that, like just out partying, they probably just had a major drop and they going to see their songs played in the club. Other than that, they really locked in. Like Southside, he got an even crazier work ethic. Like he cook up so much, like, and even on live it did. Like Southside makes so many beats, and even when I started, he's somebody I done watched and studied like a lot of his lives where he done cooked up. So at Southside, for example, even though we all know he like one of the greatest now and he got so many hits, just think about how many beats that he make and still make to this day. Even though he up billions of streams and millions of dollars, he still make beats down there back to back to this day. Like he ain't never stopped since he came in the game. So you just gotta think like it ain't really too much room for what most people do. Cause producers, we don't work a 9 to 5. Like we actually like all in about what we do. Like it ain't really like a you finna take off or take a break for real. Even Metro Boomin, I remember one time he had posted on Instagram that he was finna retire. You know, just playing. And look now, he came back with back-to-back #1 albums. So that was just cap. Bruh, any producers know for real, bruh was not finna retire. And I think even Gucci Mane had offered him some money to come out of retirement. And if you ask me, I say the whole time where Metro Boomin was saying that he was finna retire, he was making beats the whole time. Like for real. And I know he probably took a temporary break, of course, for other reasons. But other than that, it just goes to show the level of commitment of producers. So when I say most producers are lonely, I don't really mean it as in like, oh, you can't talk to anyone or you just like outcast or nothing like that. I really mean it as in most of us are really just so committed to what we're doing where it's not really as much time for most other things that most people might have time for. And that's what really just come with the game we signed up for. Like I had seen Pusha T posting one time that he had spent down there a year away from his family for his recent album. And I mean, of course, most people would look at that and be like, nah, like you tripping all that. And I would probably agree, but it's really not surprising if you think about it. A lot of major artists and major producers that you see that's going crazy in the industry, they don't really have as much time to spend with their family because they so dedicated to the work that they do, and it pay off in the long run. So Future, for example, he down to like the biggest rapper, or like one of the biggest rappers for sure, and he one of my favorites too actually. But he got like a lot of baby mamas and a lot of kids, and you just gotta think, if he making music every day and making the top hit songs back to back, he not gonna have as much time to spend with all of his baby mamas and kids, and that's really just come with the game for real. Like, so it's not really surprising. Pusha T, he just came out and said that he wasn't spending time with his family. But trust me, there's plenty of other rappers that's in the same boat as he is, where when they really trying to lock in and make the best music that they ever made, they really isolated for real. And that's just how it is. Another example of artists being isolated, I remember when Kanye was working on his project Donda, he had got like a Mercedes-Benz stadium rented out or something like that. Yeah, he had rented out like it kind of looked like a jail cell, all in a Mercedes-Benz stadium. It was like a 1-by-1 room where he rented out, and then he had different people coming in working in there. But that's just how locked in he was on his project. That's what he wanted to do for that project. He wanted to be locked in a 1-by-1 box where it was down to like a jail cell for however long he was locked up. And that's what he wanted to do for the project. And I feel like the reason he probably did that is that sometimes as artists and musicians, like, we really just want to get in that certain mode sometimes. So to connect what he did, I'll connect it to myself. Like, sometimes if I'm really just locked in, I might not really just be talking to a lot of people like that. Like, my Donda studio will be my home studio for real, because most of the time I'm in my home studio by myself. I don't just be having a lot of people in my home studio for real. And of course you still have some room for friends and girls, but at the same time you just have to have a balance with it, because you just gotta remember what is the most important thing that you focusing on. Is you focusing on you just trying to be out with everybody else, or is you focusing on you trying to really shoot up to the top and you got goals that you gotta reach? So whatever you put to the side, you can always come back to it. That's just how I look at things. I never look at things as a loss, because anything that's meant for me, it's gonna be there. So anything that I'm putting off now, if it's meant to be, it's gonna be. And if it's not meant to be, then I'm never gonna hear about it again. And then another big thing about the music industry is that it really be fake most of the time. So for example, a lot of times, and I done seen this myself, like I've seen so many producers posted their story, posted about this. A lot of times people, they'll have buzz for a minute, or they'll just have motion or whatever, and then it'll be a lot of people reaching out to them in the moment, trying to work with them and all that, because of the motion that they got now, the opportunities they got now, whatever artist that they working with in the moment. But then when they stop or when they slow down, those people, they'll switch up on them, and they might not want to work with them, or they might not even text that person back anymore. So it just be like that most of the time. It really just be fake. So that's why it's really not a lot of friends in the music industry. So that's why I use the word lonely to describe it. And honestly, once you get to a certain point, you never really know who is really genuine with you, and you kind of just have to really be good at deciphering and really deciding who you should really have in your circle. Because I can definitely vouch that it's one of the realest things ever, that sometimes people will just use you for the emotion that you have now, and then when it's gone or when it's slowed down even a little bit, they'll disappear. And then as soon as it come back, they'll come back. And I don't really relate to that too much myself, because me personally, I kind of always like just been locked in, consistent. But I have seen people post that a lot of times, where like if they career slowed down a bit, they'll be saying how a lot of people switched up on them, or people didn't offer them the same opportunities. That's another thing too. Like, let's say for example, somebody might have helped somebody get on the album, and then if that person had an opportunity, then they didn't return the favor. So it kind of be stuff like that I've seen. And me, for example, I don't really have too many friends, and I don't really care to have a lot of friends either, but I do have like a select few people in my circle, or people that I really mess with. And the only people that I'm really close with are people that's on the same time as me, or if we align. So I'm not gonna really be too close or too friendly with anybody if we on completely different timing, cause that'll just throw me off. And I'm really that same way when it come to girls too. Like, I'm not gonna mess with a girl just because of how she look, or just because she like thick in the back or something like that, and she really like a bum or something like that. Like, the only way I'm finna mess with a girl at all is if we on the same type of timing, and she on her grind too. That's just the type of person I am though. So to sum it all up, most of the big name producers that you see that's really at the top and going crazy, they put in a ton of work to really get there. And they don't really have as much time for most things that most other people have time for, like partying or really just having as much of a social life. And of course we still have it in balance, but we don't really have as much time for the most part because we really so committed and really locked in to what we do. And it's something that we love to do for most people. So even though I have relationships and friendships, I always know what I put number one. And for me, my number one goal is really just always being the best version of myself. So anything else will really just come behind it. And of course I always put God first too before anybody else. So really all I'm really saying with this video is that we really just so committed, and that's really just what signed up with the industry that we in. So if you got any value from this video, then like and subscribe. And let me know if you want more videos like these where I'm really dropping a lot of gems and really providing value. And if you want to learn more from me one-on-one, it's a link to my one-on-one jbsaucedup mentorship where I'm giving game every single day and posting videos outside of YouTube. It's not available here, where it's basically like piano lessons and then just other game on being a better producer. So if you're interested in that, click the link in the description. And I'm out. Stay blessed as always, JB.